Alright, this time I did actually forget to unmute myself. Anyway, hello, I've arrived. Artist, archivist, future man, and tonight, motorcyclist. You can call me Tiberius Vanderfield. Hello. Yes, so, there's been a change of plans. Yes. I mentioned previously that I was planning on... I had some plans for tonight that were going to most likely preclude us streaming, and those have not happened, so, yeah. On the other hand, well, I guess, I don't know. And another thing that happened, I guess, on the other hand implies some degree of comparison. Yes, in addition to that, there is a new Guilty Gear character out today, and we know how I feel about new Guilty Gear characters. Yes, anyway, so, I suppose we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get into the actual game. Before we do that, though, business. Yes, so, like I was saying, if my plans for this evening did not occur, then I was going to stream today, and that is what we were doing. And I said that if I stream today, I am not going to stream Wednesday. So such is the way of things. Yes. I was initially also going to, if I didn't stream, if I streamed today, I was planning on playing Atelier Yumiya. But, again, I got a little bit excited when I learned about the new Guilty Gear character, so yes, anyway. So, no Atelier Yumiya tonight. Instead, we will be playing that on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, Friday we would have been playing Mika and the Witch's Mountain, but this is my off day, rather than Friday this week. And then on Saturday, you should be seeing some more Arknights. So yes, so, as per usual, you should be able to expect the Thursday and Friday streams around 9 p.m. I'm going to make a strong effort towards that. So yes, you should be able to expect those around 9 p.m. And then all the other streams this week, which is to say the Saturday stream, I suppose, you should be able to expect around 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So yes, so, with that then, I suppose we will get right into things. So yes, so, as I was saying, there is a new character in Guilty Gear Strive. Oh, hold on. It might help if I make the video game visible. I did get a little bit ahead of myself, as I said. I suppose I didn't say that, but I got excited, and thus I got ahead of myself. I was excited that I would be able to start early today, but it turns out part of that was because I didn't go through the checklist of all the things that needed to be done before the stream started. There we go. So yes, we had game audio, and now we have game video. Nice. So yes, so, the new character is Unika over here. Feels like it was just yesterday that Venom came out, but I suppose that's just because the last time I played Guilty Gear was the time that Venom came out. Anyway, so Unika, I know that she is a major character in the Guilty Gear Strive anime. I have not watched this anime. I forgot that it existed, to be totally honest with you. So, I don't know anything, basically. I have nothing meaningful to say about her and her inclusion in that show. All I know is that she exists. So, I saw her trailer yesterday for the, her addition to the game, and I thought that it looked pretty neat. So, that is specifically why I wanted to play her. Yeah, again, regardless of who came out for this game, if they came out today, I would be streaming this game today. But, anyway, with that being said, I do find her look particularly interesting. Yes. So, again, I don't know much about her, other than that she's got a big weapon of some variety, some description, and just a few other details that I saw from the trailer and that I was told by a friend of mine who, I don't know if they've also seen the show, but at least is somewhat more familiar with it and with Unika's character than I am. So yes, so, with my net zero knowledge of this character, let's go in and get a little bit more familiar with how she plays at the very least. So yes, so I did look on Dustloop. I'm led to believe that her movement options are a little bit slow. That's pretty okay. I'm not unused to that sort of thing. I know that she has a system where she can power up her weapon with certain attacks to be able to do certain things. And I don't know what any of those things are, and I don't know how to do any of them. So I suppose we will see how this turns out. Alright. Full screen. Okay. Yeah, it's usable in the air too, it seems like. So yeah, so it looks like... Yeah, so slash after far standing slash or crouching slash. Okay, so these are distinct. Okay. Actually, hold on. Is this... Okay. So yeah, so it does seem that you can sort of gatling into it. Okay. So yeah, so slash after far standing... Or no. Yeah, okay. Crouching. So yeah, I sort of understand... I understand from just looking at these, you know, that they are distinct. I guess the command just sort of is a bit unintuitive for me, how it's formatted here. Because yeah, I recognize that this is the one that you do while crouching and this is the one that you do while standing, but yeah, just the way that it's written is kind of odd to me. Yes. Kill the move ends. Awarded special moves gain enhanced properties while activated while already in mode Arbalist. Okay. So yeah, so what I gathered from Dustloop is basically if you use one of these command normals that puts you into Arbalist mode, some of those can be canceled into some of those can be canceled into specials. Some of those can be canceled into specials, and those are more powerful than they would be if you didn't cancel into them. So yeah, so again, so if you do it from close, yeah, you can't Arbalist from, you cannot do the standing Arbalist from a close slash, it has to be a far slash. Alright, and there we go. Okay. Alright. So yes. So then, for example, that is with Arbalist. Whoop. Did I? Oh, hold on. Okay, yes. But yeah, so the distinct property of it is how, or the way that you distinguish it is how the weapon, if you use the special while you're in Arbalist mode, the weapon is blue rather than red. Okay. Yes. So then, your jumping dust, or standard jumping dust, it also enters Arbalist. So I imagine that's how you sort of do things like that. Okay. I'm not going to retain all of this information, most likely, but getting at least a basic idea is good. But yeah, so this is a decent poke, I think. This is more of... I'm not 100% sure what to do with this yet. Something to maybe use just at full screen, perhaps. sort of a zoning tool. Yeah, so this... Yeah, hits... Okay, so it doesn't hit low normally. Or no, hits as a low while entering mode Arbalest. Okay. So yeah, so this enters... Yeah, the quarter circle forward kick enters Arbalest. Oh, or no. Let's try that again. Okay, so no. So it doesn't enter Arbalest, but it... Okay, it hits as a low while entering mode Arbalest. So yeah. Oh. Yes, hits as a low while entering mode Arbalest. Yes, so that would seem to suggest to me that it doesn't hit as a low when you're not in mode Arbalest. Also, 1 second real quick. Alright. Need to adjust the setting here. Okay. So yes. So again, normally it seems to just be a low profile, but while in mode Arbalest, then it... Yeah, hits as a low while entering mode Arbalest. Yeah, if that does enter mode Arbalest, then I guess we'd need to figure out something else to combo out of it from. I don't know, maybe her supers care about Arbalest. Yeah, while entering... Okay, so these all sort of talk about... Yeah, while entering mode Arbalest. Yeah, while entering mode Arbalest. But this... I suppose we didn't really come here to quibble over the exact way things are worded, but it does matter whether a move puts you into mode Arbalest or whether it wants you to be in mode Arbalest to get the most effect out of it. Yes. Yeah, so it definitely seems like things that set up Arbalest, things that set up mode Arbalest, are very much distinct from simply things that... Yeah, things that set up mode Arbalest are very much distinct from things that want to be in mode Arbalest. Enters mode Arbalest. While entering mode Arbalest. Yeah, I think it seems like it's pretty safe to assume, just from looking at the animation of these, that, yeah, it is the moves that cause the weapon to produce a blue glow are the ones that put you into mode Arbalest. And then when you use the weapon, because, yeah, you have to cancel into it, I believe. Yeah. I have to enter into mode Arbalest, or I have to consume mode Arbalest more so, like right away, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay. Anyway. So, quarter circle back kick is an overhead, quarter circle forward kick is a low, or it's a low profile, and it hits low if you are in Arbalest. So yes. Quarter circle forward heavy slash is a beam or a projectile if you do it while jumping. Yeah. Certain moves transform Unika's weapon, entering mode Arbalest until the move ends. The supported special moves gain enhanced properties when activated while already in mode Arbalest. Okay, so that does imply, from the sounds of things, that if you can cancel one of these specials into another one, it would count as being in mode Arbalest for the purposes of, you know, whatever else we happen to be trying. Oops. Hold on. Okay, no. I was going to say, did I unbind dash? But no, I have it down to right trigger. But yes, anyway. So, quarter circle, or not quarter circle, I don't remember what the technical term for this is. I suppose I usually just refer to it as a Shoryu input. But yes. Yes. So, the description implies that this is an anti-air. Interrupt your opponent's offense as the startup is invincible. Okay, so the startup is invincible. So yeah, so this is the typical use of a Shoryu type move. So yes, it doesn't get you off the ground, but it is startup invincible. So yes, anyway. Yes, can't be roam cancelled, so make sure to use it carefully. And then quarter circle backslash is a wide sweeping strike attack that hits to the front. Yeah, pretty straightforward that. Yes. So, half circle back, then forward and slash. Enters mode Arbalest. Very interesting, the idea of, I guess, this whole time, the main thing that's been confusing me is the idea of, you know, these moves entering mode Arbalest when you can't cancel out of them. But it could be that you're supposed to, say, Roman cancel out of them. Whoop. Yes, the problem though is that I don't know how to Roman cancel, basically, is the problem. Yes. Well, I know how to do it. I know the actual, like, input necessary to do it, which is left trigger, but yes, I don't know how to do it effectively. So, like, the main sort of visual indicator that you're leaving mode Arbalest seems to be when the weapon goes and sort of resets like this. So, yes. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I'm off the mark here, or if I'm just, I just happen to not be... Yeah, if I just happen to not be doing it with the right timing. Yeah, and again, it might just be that... Yeah, it might just be that... There we go. Yeah, it might just be that for instance, the specials that put you into mode Arbalest are meant to be followed up with a super. Alright, let's do this in the corner to make it a little bit easier on myself, so I don't have to worry about spacing. So yeah, so slash. I guess I'm just sort of assuming backslash would be good, but I don't know that for sure at this point. Yes, so slash. I don't think... Alright. Whoop. I almost feel like I'm just not getting... Let's see, is this... Or no, quarter circle forward is not a... I'm trying to cancel into... Whoops. Yeah, I'm trying to cancel into Mega Death Buster. Because there must be a way to do it, but... I think I'm just not... I think I'm just rusty on the input. Alright. I think I might also be... I might be pushing down on the... Yeah, I might be pushing down on the stick, causing me to take control of Kai, which is a problem. Hmm. Yeah, again, hard for me to say if this is just something I can't follow up from. It seems... That doesn't seem likely. That seems strange. I don't think it would be like that. Anyway. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about not being able to cancel out of any of these, I don't think. Maybe we'll just try a different one just to be sure. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so that was... Okay. Hmm. So quarter circle back. In theory... In theory, that should be able to get us into a Mode Arbalist Mega Death Buster. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so I can definitely see how, yeah, moves that don't put you into, moves that don't put you into Mode Arbalist don't make the, Huh. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Oh, okay. Enters Mode Arbalist in current position. This does not hit as an attack. Okay. Can be cancelled into special moves or a dash from midway through the action. Okay. So yeah, so yeah, so this is for if you want to... Actually, hold on. So it could be cancelled into a dash. Okay, it doesn't seem like you retain Mode Arbalist if you dash out of it. I was thinking that that might be something, but no, it doesn't seem to be the case. Yes. So again... I don't know if I'm just... Again, I don't know if I'm missing the timing or if there's something else amiss. Whoop. That time I just didn't input the right move, it seems like. Because yeah, I can definitely combo into it out of that. Interesting. Curious. Anyway, so then the other one is weapons free. Ultimate transformation technique that allows for follow-up attacks using Thunder Seal for a set duration of time. The transformation does not occur when it hits midair. Okay, interesting. Yes, punch, kick, or slash become easier to connect with as the attacks move towards the opponent. Heavy slash deals heavy damage, but is challenging to land. Inputting a direction during dust allows you to move at high speed in the selected direction. So this is a very interesting move. I saw this as sort of the final bit of her trailer, but I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. But this is certainly something, because it seems like it puts you in a state where you have like some ability to input specific commands. Like this isn't just a move that does specific thing or does one thing. Yeah, star deviation, follow up from weapons free, slams the opponent to the ground, ending with weapons free. Okay, so yes. So yeah, so it is as I suspected, you are in a state where you are able to input. Yeah, activates automatically after either a set duration of time passes, when leaving the area, or when the opponent's health falls below a certain threshold. This move triggers an area shift. So yeah, so that is just always the case, it sounds like. Yes, follow up from weapons free, slams the opponent to the ground, ending weapons free, though it costs 50% hit tension gauge, it deals extremely heavy damage. So yeah, so given that weapons free presumably also uses tension gauge, Yeah, this definitely seems like a very, very powerful choice. It would have to be worth 100% of your tension gauge. So yes. Interesting. I don't think we're probably going to make a whole lot of use out of this, necessarily. I want to focus on just the basics at this point. But... interesting. I can't help but feel like I'm seeing something of a spoiler for the show. But, oh well. Such is the way of things. Tiff. Anyway. So thus far, I have failed to combo into Mega Death Buster from any of my other moves. So yeah, I don't know if that is a failing of yeah, I don't know if that is a me thing. Oops. Oh, hold on. Was I inputting wrong? Whoops. Okay. Quarter circle forward. There we go. I wonder if when there might be a little bit more leeway on it than I was expecting. Maybe not that much leeway. Okay. Okay, so that wasn't... Did I... Hold on. Okay, there I definitely switched over to Kai. I need to... Well, no. I was going to say... I think maybe I just need to unbind it. I think I might just need to unbind recording for right now, because it's not benefiting me. You don't want it down to down. Is there a way to just unbind it? No, it seems like. Well, there must be, because I have things that are not bound. Because I don't have taunt bound to anything. Well, I don't know. We'll just have to live with it for right now, I suppose. Unless... Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else would, Maybe I need to bind something else to left stick. Taunt, perhaps, for instance. Okay, so that does unbind it, but now I have the issue of taunt being bound to left stick, which I don't necessarily want. I guess maybe just don't press it, basically. Just be more careful that you don't press it. So yeah, I am able to follow up, it seems. I am able to follow up. I am able to follow up, but I'm not able to achieve anything properly from here. Yeah, I'm not sure. Because yeah, the question in my mind is, does like the point where steam starts coming out of the weapon, does that mean that Mode Arbalist is already spent? Yeah, I guess... Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can figure out on this without spending a lot more time on it, I think. Because yeah, there doesn't seem to be any specific details on Dust Loop. So people who have a lot more knowledge of the fighting game than I do also do not know. So, or at least if they do know, it's not written anywhere that I am able to see here. Yes. So yeah, so I think trying to... Again, it might be... The way that it says that these enter mode Arbalest, while entering mode Arbalest, enters mode Arbalest, things like that. I feel like some of these might be... I don't know, I think that the wording might be a little bit misleading, because the way it's phrased... Yeah. Because, yeah, the fact that they, quote, enter mode Arbalest, end quote, implies to me that you are supposed to use them in sequence. Like, you're supposed to, I don't know, not necessarily any specific one of these followed by any other specific one of them, but... Yeah, that you're supposed to be able to use these in sequence, and perhaps do so also while, yeah, then cancel into one of them, cancel out of one of them into Megadeth Buster. Yeah, Weapons Free doesn't seem to have any bearing on mode Arbalest, which makes sense because it doesn't make use of her weapon, but yes. So again, it's worded in a certain way, but I think that that is somewhat misleading, probably not necessarily intentionally, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be... Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any... Again, not... At least not that I can tell. At least not that I can tell. It doesn't seem to be that you can or are supposed to cancel any of your specials into any of your other specials or into Megadeth. I think you're just supposed to cancel, you know, Megadeth into... Or you're supposed to cancel into Megadeth from one of these if you want to do it. Or cancel into one of these from your command normals. So yeah. I don't know, we'll give it a little bit more time. Because again, it could just be that I'm not, I don't know. I feel like if it was supposed to work, it would have worked by now. I'll be the first to admit that my inputs are somewhat sloppy, but I can input it at least this consistently. Whoop. Whoop. I can input it at least this consistently, so yeah, I think I'm just overthinking things. Anyway. So yes. So, with all that, let's go and fight some people. Because the beautiful thing about playing a character that you have no idea how to play because they just came out is that everyone else won't have any idea how to play against them. Yes, so we should have a plentiful supply of players to play against here. And then we will go as Unika. Yeah, everything is fine on that front, so let us just go for it. And let's also take a sip while I'm here. Oops. Sip. Oh, looks like we've already got a opponent queued up for us.
We've got it. Are you ready?
Alright, Goldlewis. I haven't played a whole lot of Goldlewis, or I haven't played against a whole lot of Goldlewis. I've probably played as Goldlewis more than I played against him, but I haven't really played as him very conscientiously perhaps. Yes, I've not played as him while thinking much about my strategy. Oh. I was hoping we'd see some of Unika's intro there. Oh. Yeah, so I think we're going to want to play the range game a little bit. Oops. But he's also going to want to play the range game, so... Alright, shouldn't be... Oops. Oops. Okay, there we go. We've already run into an issue because of how I've bound taunt. Okay. Nope. So yes, so, at the earliest possible opportunity, we'll have to unbind taunt. Or at least bind it onto something else, rather. Yeah, bind it onto something that I'm unlikely to push in the heat of battle. Unfortunate. Very aggressive, this Goldlewis. Very good. Not bad, not bad.
Mr. President, hello? Hello?
Alright, anyway. We'll continue on fighting Goldlewis for right now, but I need to be very careful now that I don't, well, I guess I could... I could just use the directional pad, I suppose, but... Oop. Ooh, this is gonna be bad. Oh no, okay, it's fine. Okay, so hitting him does get rid of the Thunderbird. That's what I was assuming, but I didn't, I wasn't confident enough about it to try to plan around it. Ooh, nice. That was a wild rush, I think, there. Oops. Okay. Not a very clean match there. And that was definitely a poor choice, I think. But yeah, the question is then, what do I want to do as Ace Pope? I suppose this is a thing that we already established, but... Alright, alright. Oops. Uh-oh. Yeah, okay. Need to be a little bit more mindful of how exactly we're doing things. Ah, no. Uh-oh. Hold on, did we just... I think I just canceled from one special to another. Oh dear. I should have just blocked that. But yes, I did cancel from one special to another there, it seems like. So we have indeed had a breakthrough. Thank you for your input, Goldlewis. Yeah, so some of... At least one of our specials can cancel into other... Yeah, can be canceled out of to affect some meaning. Uh-oh. Yeah, got a little bit impatient there. Alright, should have tried that earlier, but not bad. Oh. There we go. I was going to say, one more poke should take Goldlewis down, and there we go. Not bad, not bad.
I'll show you the answer I've chosen.
Alright. Not bad. Not bad. Seems like Goldlewis is having some second thoughts here, maybe. Considering the possibilities of fighting Unika. Considering them quite hard, it seems like. Oh, are we gonna get a rematch? No, it seems like. Unfortunate. Well, at least that means that we can now fix things so that we're not haunting in the middle of combo strings. Very little in this world that I would prefer not to do. Maybe that's being a bit hyperbolic, but Anyway. Since we can't record in this, what is... I don't know what this input means. I think that might be a tag input or something, like for Team of 3 mode, maybe. Yeah, it is. I wonder if there's something I'm missing here, because it feels like you should be able to simply unbind things. But yeah, well, one way or the other. Alright, it looks like we're fighting someone who has quite a bit more experience with Unika than I do. So we'll see how this shakes out. No reason to get too psyched out, I suppose. But yeah, so as for game plan, I don't really have one. I only just barely have an idea. Oh, that's unfortunate. Only just barely have an idea of how to play the characters I know how to play. Or at least, more specifically, I just barely know what I want to do with them. Alright, this is getting a little bit messy, so... Alright. Fair enough. Alright. Unfortunate. Get a little stretch in. Interesting choice. I guess it worked, so I can't criticize too much. Unfortunate, that. Alright, yeah. I was getting careless. Alright, not bad. Yes, it seems that character experience isn't quite everything. Whoop. Ah. I did walk right into that, though.
Making the same mistake twice, right?
That's the plan. We'll see how I do about that, but that's the plan. Alright. Yeah, gotta be careful if they try to make space, because if they do, then they're just going to start spamming their beams, it seems like. Unfortunate, that. Oh, nice, okay. That was... I guess I must have gotten hit there from something that they did while in midair. Oh. Alright, fair enough. I should have been more careful. Alright. Okay, fair enough. That was a good anti-air. Alright. I don't like what's going on here. There we go, that's better. Alright. We're getting the hang of things. Yeah, not a whole lot of forward momentum on. Okay. I'm getting the hang of what they're trying to do to defend themselves against the jump-ins there. So I should probably stop jumping into that. Just a thought. Alright. I feel like since we've got a pretty good idea of what they do at round start, we should probably start trying to counter that. Yeah, they really do love that move though, huh? Definitely could have followed up, or yeah, followed through on the setup for that. Yeah, and gotten a mode arbalist. Yeah, mode arbalist start for that. Oops, yeah, I was trying to quarter circle forward there, but even that wasn't necessarily the best choice in that situation, I don't think. I really want to see, I want to see her, like, round, like, intro, because it's very neat how she rides on this thing. Alright, I don't like this. Alright, we'll need to be mindful. Ideally not let that happen, but, I feel like I was blocking that. Maybe I got chipped. Well, no, I was at a non-1 amount of HP, so I wouldn't have gotten knocked out from chip damage, I don't think. Yeah, I keep messing up my, I keep trying to do the low-profile move, but I guess it doesn't take you that far. It doesn't take you that far, so I suppose I should, if I want to get in, dashing is probably more so what I want to do. Alright, oh. Uh-oh. Alright, so they're gonna get big damage off of this. Okay, I'm glad they, aren't so good at converting off of wall splats. Maybe because they're not... Oh. You might not be expecting them. I certainly wouldn't be, but... Alright, not bad. Not great, but... We're picking things up a little bit.
I'll not be used again. I have to make things right.
Hopefully someone will let me see Unika's intro at some point today. That's what I truly desire above all else. Yeah, so again, I want to make sure that I'm following up on these, I think. Yeah, not all of these are necessarily... Yeah, getting into mode arbalist doesn't necessarily guarantee... I felt the rumble. Are we gonna get a match? Yeah, so for instance, the heavy... Yeah, okay. Like this, I can't seem to combo into it from the light slash mode arbalist. So yeah, so let's see. I wonder, can I... Yeah, okay, so we did not match. I wonder if there's some way I can make that work. It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, the heavy slash equivalent of, or the heavy slash mode arbalist initiator does seem to be very much weighted towards, this, primarily. I wonder if there's something I'm missing about the timing, because it does seem that they're also... Yeah, it doesn't seem to combo... It doesn't seem to be a true combo. Which, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to always be a true combo. But it's interesting that it pushes you so far away from the target. It pushes you so far away from the target when, in theory, you're trying to follow up with something out of that. Yeah, again, you might just be expected to follow... Oops. Yeah, you might just be expected to follow up with the... Yeah, the beam attack. So yeah, so... Chipp. I don't have much to say about Chipp. I've played Chipp to a good amount of, a good degree of, with a decent amount of proficiency. I've gotten good results as Chipp, playing against friends. But I think that's probably more just due to the fact that he's fast and unpredictable, more so than me being able to say that I'm any good with Chipp. Anyway, all of this is to say that I've got no idea what I'm trying to do here, specifically. Yeah, I don't know how to counter Chipp. I don't know him well enough to do anything specifically against him. So yeah, I do... Oops. That was probably not the best burst in the world, especially because I am losing, so I might as well try to ensure that they don't get momentum whenever possible. We didn't quite succeed there, but worth considering. We do have an ad coming up. I think we should have enough time to wrap up our matches with this Chipp. But if not, it is what it is, I guess. But yes, they're playing quite cautiously, perhaps more so than is warranted. Alright, not bad, not bad. Good overhead. I definitely got mixed up by that. Alright. Alright, that was foolish of me. Alright, not bad. Yeah, they're missing some of their moves, which is good. Yeah, again, I just kind of don't have a really great poking option. Yeah, I've got a lot of pretty wide, pretty decent range on my normals. I guess that might be a good one. But I do need to combo into that. Not bad, there we go. So yeah, we need to take advantage of some of their caution, while not being too aggressive ourselves. So yeah, again, the speed that Chipp has allows him to get a fair amount of control, is the thing. But he only gets as much control as you allow him. Alright, not bad. I can definitely tell that they were afraid of what I just did there. Yeah, they definitely seem to be a little bit afraid of the beam. Which is maybe more than it deserves, necessarily. Ah, unfortunate there. Alright, not bad. Yeah, so I think to figure out the intricacies of, I don't know, maybe they usually put out a, like, video introduction for each character. So they probably have one for Unika out. And by they, I should say, I should specify that I mean, you know, the developers, ArcSys. Yeah, there's probably one out for Unika. So that might tell us a little bit more about how to play her. Alright, fair enough. I didn't know that was invincible on startup. Very good, very good. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to hit the snooze on the ad if we don't want to get interrupted. I suppose there's not necessarily a problem with that, but... Alright. So yeah, the Chipp is learning to respect me a little bit, playing a lot more cautiously than they were at first. Probably, again, more cautiously than I think I really warrant, because I'm not doing a whole lot that is intentional. But again, unpredictability is a certain strength. Oops. Alright, nice combo. Nice cancel, I should say. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about when I say that I don't know how to Roman cancel. I know, again, like, how to do it, but I don't know why to do it, in a sense. Yeah, I don't know what circumstances would lead me to want to do it. Alright, not bad. That wasn't a clean hit, but very good. Not a clean hit, but we did succeed, so I can't complain. Yeah, we've also got burst back, which is very good. Yeah, I'm up, and I've got burst. That leaves me in a very good position. Yeah, and I suppose a thing to keep in mind is that just because I can do stuff with, yeah, just because I can yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? Just because I can enter into mode Arbalist and do extra things in mode Arbalist doesn't mean that that's the end-all be-all. So yeah, it's not like I need to use a mode or a move from mode Arbalist in order to win. I need to keep my head on straight here. They're definitely... There we go. I was going to say, they're definitely trying to throw out a lot of things here to keep me off guard. But, I did win, so... Not bad, not bad. So yes. So, the ad is coming up. I think I'm going to start that. And we will get back to the fighting after the ad. And we'll go on break also. Alright, I have returned. So yes, so I think that as we sort of got at towards the end of the our practice there, whoops. As we were getting at towards the end of our practice there, I feel like I'm probably leaning into mode Arbalist a little bit too much, trying to set it up a little bit too much. Yeah, trying to focus on it without really having a good idea of what I hope to accomplish by using it. Alright, will we get the intro? No. Unfortunate that. So yes. Whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So yeah, they're definitely very aggressive about using their faultless defense, it seems like. They know how to use the mechanics of the game. Not bad, not bad. Maybe they... yeah, well, I don't want to be rude, but... yeah, it seems that they're trying to use their mechanics, but maybe aren't necessarily that, maybe aren't that proficient at it. Which is perfectly fair. Honestly, it's probably better to use them and use them incorrectly than to not use them at all, like I do. Yeah, I can burst, and that's about all I've gotten to a point that I'm comfortable with attempting, basically. What? Alright, not bad. Yeah, they're definitely weak to pressure, though. Definitely weak to pressure, this Unika is. Even though they don't have a name, they might also be new to the game. Possibly this is someone who got into the game from the show. Yeah, they've got some experience. Oh, I guess I'm the one who skipped the intro there. I guess I didn't necessarily have a reason to suspect that they would not skip it, but... yeah, some of the moves that they're doing just sort of, yeah, whiffing throws and dusts like that. It definitely seems like they might be a little bit new to the game. Yeah, they've got a decent foundation, but it definitely seems like they, well, I don't know. I feel like they're, maybe they're just a little bit out of sorts from playing a new character. Because they'd have to be at least, they'd have to have a fair amount of experience with the game in order to get, like, maybe not a lot, but a non-zero amount in order to get, you know, a few floors up into the ranked lobby. Alright, not bad, not bad. Yeah, very weak to pressure this Unika is. And so it ends.
No making the same mistake twice.
Alright. One more round against them. Okay. Oop. Alright, I jumped right into that. Unfortunate, but oh well. I don't know if it's necessarily... I mean, it's almost certainly not the best use of it, but it definitely feels like I could probably get some solid anti-airs out of my quarter circle back kick there. What? Alright, alright. Ah, not bad, not bad. Yeah, fortunately, we have had some experience against Unikas who like to use the beam a lot. Unfortunately, I fell to the much simpler kick, but it is what it is. I was moving in very aggressively. I should have been a little bit more cautious, I think. Saved it for when I had actually confirmed something. Yeah, again, you know, I've got decent ranged options. Not any great ones, I think. Because again, you know, a lot of them either require you to set up mode Arbalest, or they have just a long wind-up like this. But, you know, if they're not responding to it, then... yeah, if they aren't blocking it properly, then it is what it is. Alright, at least we got to see Unika use her device as a motorcycle at least once. Again, I'm really, really hoping we get to see her round intro one of these days, that someone doesn't skip it, but... alright, not bad. Yeah. Bad conversion there, but... I was able to keep up the pressure, so... not bad, not bad. Yeah, so we've got some basic ideas. Again, a lot of it just comes down to, I think, figuring out what I want to do just in general, like how I want to plan my offense. That's not something we've really been thinking about too much. Yeah, again, I do want to be using my slashes. Yeah, they've got decent frame data, honestly. I suppose because you're fairly reliant on them in order to be able to combo into more powerful moves, like more so than the average character is. Because you do need to, you know, finish a slash combo string, a slash Gatling combo, in order to be able to use the powered up versions of your moves. Yeah, so it makes sense that they'd be a little bit more reliable. A little bit more reliable than those you might see on other characters. And so, we're playing against Bedman. I have nothing to say about Bedman. I have no knowledge of how to play Bedman. I have no knowledge of how to play against Bedman. I don't even have any real idea of what Bedman can do. Yeah, definitely... of all the characters in this game, Bedman is the one that I have the least knowledge of. It's a little bit funny to me, because I did, you know, I played Yggd, which Bedman was also in. So, yeah, just... I don't even have any pre-existing knowledge from Yggd about Bedman. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I think definitely Bedman is the character that I've seen played the least. And a lot of the other characters that I have seen played, that I've seen played very little, I have at least played myself to some extent. But such is not the case again with Bedman. So if I'm not mistaken, though I might be mistaken, yeah, I'm mistaken, never mind. Yeah, is that? Yeah. Never mind. Yeah, I was going to say that I thought that I had comboed in a way that I did not, basically. I mistook one move for another. Alright. So we appear to have gotten promoted. Yes. I think in the past, I'm pretty sure that usually ended the match right away if you increase your rating. Yeah, it seems that now they're allowing you to finish it, which is nice. Alright, they're definitely picking up on what I'm putting down now. I'm glad that one of us understands what I'm trying to do here. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, it definitely seems that they are another person who's very weak in the corner.
Not in bad shape.
So yeah, unfortunately though, I don't know how to get a lot of corner carry with Unika. Actually, I think my quarter circle back and slash probably is a decent option for that. At the very least, it seems like a move that would carry an opponent a long way. Wow. Alright. So it seems they're in some sort of state. It seems like they might not be anymore, but... So yeah, again, no idea what that super was supposed to do. So I definitely responded to it poorly. I suppose the beam also has a good amount of corner carry to it. Yeah, again, since it has such a long windup, though, it might not be a reliable option.
Training complete. I think I'm getting better.
I also think I'm getting better. And it seems that the game thinks I'm getting better, too.
Move on to the next floor.
Alright. Not bad, not bad. Yes, hopefully the people in this floor don't have Unika all figured out yet, because I feel like a lot of, well, I don't know. I was going to say I feel like a lot of what has been carrying us so far today has just been people not being super familiar with Unika, but I'm also not super familiar with Unika, so it's not like I'm making use of her abilities to any great extent. So if we're doing well, probably it's that my fundamentals have actually improved. Gotta have a little bit of confidence in yourself. Alright, we're up against another Unika here. And again, we will see. Oh, are we gonna get the intro? It feels like every time I ask that is when it gets cancelled. Just once I want to see Unika's round start animation. Alright, not bad. That was a pretty good punish. I can't fault that. Good conversion there. Yeah, definitely if we're going to keep using Unika, we need to figure out how to safely put pressure on. Not bad. Very good, very good. Solid success. Alright. Yeah, it seems that this Unika is a little bit a little bit less aggressive than they should be. They're not putting the pressure on me that they could be, which is good, and we should take advantage of that. Alright. One of these days I should probably use my super at least once, but I'm not going to try too hard on that because I'm still, you know, figuring things out. Very good. I kind of lost track of whose health bar was whose because I'm used to being on the left-hand side there. I lost track of whose hit points were whose, so I didn't expect them to go down in just one hit there. Alright, good counter. I was a bit too aggressive there, I will admit. Yeah, we'll keep up the pressure. Definitely an early burst and not necessarily the circumstance in which I most recommend burst, but that was a decent, decent way to keep the pressure on. Alright, decent burst out of them. Alright, keep them on their toes. Oh. Alright. Actually, I should be using my my dust, jumping dust a little bit more. Get a little bit of pressure on that way when I'm jumping in. Alright. Yeah, now they're within killing range. There we go. I was going to say, so I need to stay calm. And we did. We did pretty good at that. Alright. Good mutual counter there. Good mutual counter there. I think we were doing the exact same move, actually. Alright. Applying pressure indeed. Was a little bit too idle for a little bit too long there. Alright. Nope. Okay, this is gonna be fine. I suppose I should probably be using the, that move. The standing, Arbalist move at some point. But, again, we're doing pretty okay with how things are right now. There's definitely room for improvement, but we're doing pretty solid. I can't complain too much. Yeah, so again, it's about learning when to try to get a Mode Arbalist combo rather than always trying to get it. It might always be best if you can get it, but just because it's best when you can get it doesn't mean you're always going to get it, is the thing. Oop. Panic indeed. Alright. Very good, very solid. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying Unika. Yeah, I think that, I do think that I've enjoyed Elfelt and Dizzy more, but probably a lot of that just comes down to the fact that I'm a little bit more comfortable with them. If I got more time to practice with Unika, I'd probably enjoy her even more. Alright. Solid pressure. Didn't keep it up that well. I think I overcommitted a little bit, but the dog has come to weigh in. Uh-oh. Alright, this is a little bit of a suboptimal situation. Interesting count Or, yeah, interesting cancel there. Ah, yeah, I got a little bit too, got a little carried away there. Unfortunate. Alright, fair enough. Very good. Oh, nope. I suppose some of the things that we have learned, like low kick into low dust, probably are applicable even if I'm not playing a character who is, you know, not playing a character who benefits from that as much as, say, Dizzy or, yeah, Dizzy or, Amelia. Oop, okay. Yeah, they're definitely turning it around on me this time around. I figured out some of my tricks. Yeah, good on them.
No making the same mistake twice.
Alright, not bad, not bad. 2 out of 3 is pretty good. That's a winning record there. So, or I should say a winning result there. Yeah. Looks like we're going to be seeing a lot more of them up in this tier. Or at least maybe it's just the luck of the draw, so to speak. But the question remains, will we see? No, we will not. One of these days, it will happen. Not bad, not bad. Probably that was a little bit of an early burst for me. I probably shouldn't have used it there. Alright, they also probably shouldn't have used their burst there, but I'm glad that they did, because now we're on kind of an even playing field. Yeah, they're definitely a lot more aggressive than our last opponent is, better at capitalizing on my mistakes. So yeah, we're definitely in a very disadvantageous position at this point. Yeah, I was a little bit too aggressive jumping in there. Alright, not bad. I wasn't really expecting that to hit so much as just control a little bit of space there, but I'm glad that it did. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling the versatility. Definitely liking the versatility. Yeah, getting a better idea of what moves to use in what situations is really going to be important if I'm going to do well as Unika. Because yeah, as it stands, I'm mostly doing things arbitrarily. But she has pretty good tools for lots of different situations. So being able to select the right one is going to be important. Alright. Alright, not bad. That was, again, probably an early burst. Probably a situation where I didn't really need it. Because yeah, that would, in a situation like that where I'm actually getting comboed, would probably have been better. I am wanting to try and maintain the momentum, but I don't want to get too carried away. Being able to stop them from picking up the momentum is going to also be important. Good counter. Alright, not bad. Yeah, unfortunately my defense is crumbling a little bit here, so we need to turn things around a little bit. I was kind of fishing for grabs there, but I really shouldn't have been. Yeah, again, we've learned a lot, and just because I'm playing a new character doesn't mean that all the tactics that I've learned on other characters don't apply. Because honestly, you know, she isn't that gimmicky, especially, like, even compared to other characters that I've played, really. Yeah, Unika plays pretty honest. Yeah, there's nothing really strange about how she works. Because yeah, even the gimmick that she does have is just that if you do combos, your moves are better, basically. And you should be doing combos anyway, so... that was, yeah, I was trying to see about hitting her out of that, but maybe I shouldn't have. Oh well.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Yeah, again, we sort of had the same idea there. The only difference was that I jumped backwards while she jumped forward. Again, I'm using my burst a little bit too aggressively, I think. I'm using it to start things rather than finish them. And that's not, not a bad idea per se, but I'm not doing it as well as I could be, is the thing. Ooh, okay. Good throw, good throw. Yeah, one of these days I really just need to focus on, I really need to focus on learning to use my supers. Or at least do something with my tension meter. Even just using faultless defense more would probably be pretty beneficial to me. Because again, if I'm not using it for anything, then I'm losing out on a lot of value. And sure, maybe I don't always necessarily want to fish for opportunities to use my super, but if I'm not doing it at all, yeah, if I'm not using it at all, then it's just going to waste. I can't take it with me to the next match, so... unfortunate there. Definitely I should have bursted there. That was a situation where I had it, and I could have gotten out of a combo, but I just didn't. Now that I think about it, I realize I don't know what the... Yeah, I was inputting it wrong there. Okay, so that's not a... That doesn't work, but... We've done it before. I managed to get it to work before. Let me just practice the input a little bit more. Alright, so I'm definitely... Well, I was gonna say I'm definitely inputting it right. I don't know if I was inputting it right there, but previously, but... Is it just me, or is the lobby significantly smaller than it was? I guess I'm in a new floor now, so that's why, probably. Yeah, there we... Okay, I need to figure out the button situation. So yeah, so this is tag, which isn't useful for, what we're doing here, which is good. Because again, I need to stop taking control of the enemy, and I also need to not taunt. And I don't want to find playback to, I don't want to find playback to the left stick either. Because then the bot might, or the training dummy might start moving in ways that I don't want them to for the sake of the training. It really does feel strange that they're just isn't a way, it seems, to simply unbind a command. You have to bind it always to something else. Alright, that was definitely a very bad burst on my part. I've done some questionable ones. That one was just not anything. Alright, jumped a little bit late there. I wonder. Oh, okay, so I can low profile that. I suppose, you know, it's a low profile move, so that's what they're for, but yeah. The beams seem to be low enough that I didn't expect it to be something that I could just slide under like that.
You still haven't learned a thing.
I like to think I've learned a thing. Maybe not two things, but at least one thing. Alright. So yeah, again, I'm using my slashes a lot in neutral, and that's fine, I think. But when I'm on the defensive, I need to rely more on punches and kicks, because they're faster to come out. Even if I do have pretty fast slashes, they're not infinitely fast, you know. Yeah, and especially if my opponent is going to be trying to set up a lot of Arbalist combos. Yeah, especially if my opponent is trying to set up a lot of Arbalist combos. Whoop. Not bad, not bad. Good trade. Well, it wasn't a trade. I am the only one who hit them, but... Alright, we're up on burst. We're otherwise equally matched. Alright, not bad. This was, I think, a good time to use burst to try and maintain an offensive. Alright, I accidentally, Oh, hold on. Is something... Because I Roman canceled there. And I definitely didn't press the Roman cancel button. So now does having... Have I stumbled across another key binding that results in things not working the way I want them to? I think I did. So there's really no winning, huh? Well, again, if we have the left stick bound to playback or to recording, at least it doesn't affect our matches. It affects training mode, but, you know, if things go wrong in training mode, it's easy to fix. Yeah, and it's only a minor momentary inconvenience. Whereas in this, you know, if I input something entirely inappropriate for the situation at hand, then we lose, you know, or we could lose at least. Yeah, should have, done the forward there. Ooh, nice throw, nice throw. I feel like either she didn't say something there or she said something there very quietly. I didn't hear anything. I don't know if any of you heard anything there, but... Alright. Yeah, keep up the pressure. Yeah, they're definitely starting to anticipate me jumping in. And so, as I say that, I jump in and get anticipated. Oh. Oh. Alright. So... I don't know if I pressed the wrong button there, or if I did the thing that I thought I did with,
No making the same mistake twice, right?
Yeah, I think I might have made the same mistake twice and pressed in on the left stick and made something weird happen due to the way I have things bound. Well, it is what it is. You can't necessarily change anything about this, so we just need to, you know, live with it. Yeah, definitely not the best combo there, as evidenced by the fact that it didn't work, but... yeah, I guess part of the issue I'm having is that I just don't know how to follow up with her special, because a lot of them, it feels like, have a very... there's a long gap between... it's harder to combo into them, basically. And yeah, I don't know if that's just me being inexperienced, or if they just happen to have a lot of startup on them, so you need to be very careful about what situations you use them in. Yeah, again, it could be that, to a certain extent. Yeah, again, since she's very much built on comboing out of very specific steps in her combo route into her specials. Yeah, and that might be part of it. Not bad, not bad. Hey, there we go. Definitely wasn't necessary, but I'm glad that I did pull it off. Yes, that was intentional. I did do that on purpose. Nope. Alright, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I was trying to throw them off a little bit by throwing in a kick there instead of continuing with slashes like I would probably normally do. Yeah, unfortunately, they did a low attack. They were underneath my attack. Yeah, I do have burst. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, there we definitely Roman canceled my... Again, I'm 100% certain I did not press the Roman cancel button. So it seems that what I have bound to left stick also triggers Roman cancels, which is unfortunate. Yeah, okay. So, we don't want that to be true either. Whoops. So, back to as things were, I suppose. We've got to figure something out here. Anyway. Got to figure something out, but... Sit. Yeah, definitely... Have we fought anyone who isn't a Unika since we got into level 6? I don't think we have. So at least we're getting a lot of practice against Unika. Yeah, maybe this is where all the Venoms were when I was looking for Venoms. Oops. Alright. Alright, not bad. Oops. Ah. I was trying to crouch there. But yeah. Definitely, I'm not used to responding to overheads. That's a major problem of mine. Well, I suppose there's nothing to it but simply to respond to overheads properly. Yes, look for the signs and then read them. Unfortunate. But yeah, I think I got a little bit psyched out there because I wasn't crouching. I wasn't crouch blocking, so I got hit with a lot of lows there. Yeah, that wasn't a mix-up or anything. I just was thinking too hard about trying to block overheads, I think. Yeah, again, an important thing to keep in mind about this game is that usually, if you see them coming, you can respond to overheads, whereas lows aren't necessarily that easy to respond to. Yeah, that's sort of the balance, basically. Yeah. Crouch blocking is usually the safe option, unless they specifically do something, you know. If they are doing something that is not safe to crouch block against, usually it takes longer to set up. Oh. Alright. Unfortunate. Yeah, that time it wasn't an issue of blocking. That time I was just trying to attack too aggressively. Yeah. You know what to do to anti-air, so I have no one to blame that on but myself. Yeah, they are pretty good at varying their attack strategy. Pretty good at varying their attacks. And again, I'm probably being entirely too aggressive for the amount of HP that I have, but you know, if I'm passive, then I'll just be killed anyway, so might as well push things a little bit. Oh. Alright, it seems that they... Or no. Okay. I have been demoted. Unfortunate. I don't know, I'm doing okay on floor 6, so I think I'm just going to stick here. Did I stay on floor 6? I don't know. So yeah. So again... Interesting thing to note. Or actually, oh no. I think I might have been reading the frame data wrong. Well, no, okay. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, I thought that I might have been reading the frame data wrong, because I thought that her light slash had a 7 frame startup, but I'm thinking of her close light slash, which does. Yes, her close light slash has a 7 frame startup, the same as her kick. So if you're close, they're probably about equivalent. The only difference being the hitbox and hurtbox and all that. Hey, intro! Finally, I get to be cool.
How are we both here?
Well, it looks like we don't get an answer to that question. Alright, so, can't let things go to our head just because we were cool once. We need to be cool throughout the battle. Whoop. Yeah, that was a good opportunity to keep the pressure up. That was a good burst, I think. Yeah, that was a good punish on their part. I'm getting a little bit too aggressive. Yeah, I'm falling back into... Ooh. I'm falling back into lasers, apparently. But more specifically, I'm falling back into bad habits of not blocking, basically. So yeah, they've got a pretty decent defensive game on them. So, I need to be a little bit more thoughtful about how I approach. And it might be best not to approach some of these times. Wasn't really much choice there while we were already in the corner, but...
No making the same mistake twice.
Mankind
Yeah.
knew that they...
nothing to do but approach when you're that close, I suppose. Can't exactly maintain space. So yeah. I think, again, when we're playing against someone who's got a good defense, we need to try to get them to approach us rather than always trying to approach them. I was trying to throw them off there with a... Oh, nice. I was trying to throw them off there with a throw. I was, yeah, betting that they wouldn't be expecting that from me. But I definitely whipped there because I just met them at a bad part of the animation, I think. All right, not bad. Yeah, it definitely feels like their offense is a little bit weaker than their defense. So again, we need to try to get them to approach us rather than approaching them always. And granted, there are times to approach them, but it's all in doing the thing that you want to do when you want to do it, rather than just whenever. Not bad, not bad. Alright. So yeah, so I think we've still got one more match out of them. I think after this I'm going to call it for the night. Yeah, after this we're going to call it for the night, I think. So yeah, I think now that we've wisened up to their games a little bit, I think now they're a little bit flustered. Because they're definitely not defending as well as they used to be. Solid. Alright. Yeah, they don't want to come out the loser in this, I think. Alright. Not bad, not bad. Alright, that's, yeah, good retaliation from them, I must admit. So yeah, if they... Oh. I was going to say, if they try to approach, I'm thinking it might be worth trying to go for a super. But... seems like we're not going to... Oh, there we go. Yeah, seems like we aren't going to have to rely on that. Alright, and with that, we have finally seen Unika's round entry animation.
I will not be used again. I have
So
to make
yes,
things right
so we have
for
succeeded.
everyone.
So yes, one way or the other. And we won more matches than we lost, I think, today. At the very least, we got promoted to a higher rank. We did lose that rank. We did lose that rank also, but, you know. We did at least get promoted at least once, so. Anyway. So, time to wrap things up. Yeah, Unika has been a lot of fun. Yeah, again, I knew a little bit going into her about the Arbalist abilities. So I was kind of expecting her to be more heavily focused on them, but again, she's pretty solid. She's pretty straightforward. She has, you know, some powerful moves, but she's not very gimmicky. So yes. So, all that being said then, it is now time to wrap up, which means that it is time for you to give me a raid suggestion, if you feel so inclined. And in the meantime, we'll go over the business for today. So yes, so tonight has been Guilty Gear Strive. But yes, once again, we will not be streaming on Wednesday. And again, for the future, where possible, I'm planning on streaming Monday and Tuesday versus Tuesday and Wednesday. The rest of the streams throughout the week should be about the same. And so on that note, Thursday and Friday will both be Atelier Yumiya, because I was originally going to play Yumiya today, but I switched because I wanted to play Strive. Yes, so anyway, Yumiya Thursday and Friday, both of those streams you can expect to be around 9 p.m. Central Time, and then the Saturday stream you can expect to be around 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and that will be some more Arc Nights. So yes, so with that then, with that, I think that's about all that needs to be said, I suppose. So, in that case, I'm not seeing any raid suggestions, so I think tonight we're going to go and visit Marky-chan, who's playing some Final Fantasy VI. I think that said finale right there. So in that case, he's probably a pretty good ways of finale. Definitely says finale. So with that then, it seems that he's quite a ways into Final Fantasy VI. If you happen to be trying to avoid Final Fantasy VI spoilers. But if you're not, or if you just want to stop in and say hi and then leave, you'll be raiding nevertheless. So yes, raid, Marky-chan. Alright. Everything is good here. The customary raid message is, as always, we have arrived. And so yes. So then, with all that, thank you for being here tonight. I hope that you've had a fine night. I hope that you will continue to have a fine night every night. And I hope that you will be well until the next time I see you. Thank you all very much, and farewell. Let us get this raid underway.